Good afternoon. Uh, Welcome to CS220 Data Management and Security. My name is Richard Powers and be the instructor for this course. Um, what I'm going to do here, just to give you what I'd like to do at the beginning here, is to give you an overview of the course, go through the syllabus, kind of review what the topics are going to be, and kind of the some of the dates. Uh, this is an online class, right? And we're running it, in the second summer session. So we've got a pretty tight schedule here. So we're going to move um, fairly quickly. So I've put together, a timeline and a syllabus for the topics we're going to be covering, right? So we're going to be working out of the Moodle class site. All right. So this is come here summer 2020, SU20, CS220, SU2, summer 2. This is this site here has all of the information that we'll be working with in the course. All right. I have recorded all of the lectures. If you take a do a quick review of the kind of the structure of this is um, I've recorded lectures. So we've got, when we look at the syllabus, I've recorded lectures that kind of as that correspond to the different sections of the course we're going to be, or topic areas we're going to be covering within, within the semester. Right. We also have a set of quizzes that are associated with it, the tests. Um, and then below that, below the quizzes and tests, we actually have the content for the presentation. So this is all PowerPoint presentations that's cover the topic areas, and then what we see here, what we have up here, these recorded lectures are really the lecture version of what's on the slide deck. So if you download the slide deck, um, start the lecture, you can follow along with it. All right, so everything is out here right now. So all these pieces are already set up and should be accessible to you in the in the Moodle site. What I'm usually will do, or usually the way I've been doing this is I've pre-recorded all the lectures. What I'm going to do is on a week by week basis, what I will do is come in and record I guess, kind of an introduction. So this is part of the, introduction says recording CS220, welcome. That's what this is here. And then what I'll do is I'll also, like, every week I will kind of outline out what are the things going to be, we want to cover over the course of that week. Right? So we kind of use the, kind of what I've put here as to kind of frame up the work we will be doing. All right. So that's the quizzes. And so I think I just have to unlock these. I'll go back and verify that we'll unlock all of the quizzes. So let's take a look at the syllabus. All right, so these are all the different sections here. Let's look at the syllabus. Okay, so the syllabus for the course. All right, so this is the syllabus of the course. My information. So Professor Richard Powers. I've taught this, I think this is the second or third time I've taught this. And I've done it previously on site, but I've always have recorded. So usually what I've been doing is I'll present in class and then I record the lecture kind of alongside it. So you can go back and verify, kind of opportunity to hear this stuff again. So we kind of help reinforce the material. All right. My cell phone, so this obviously the course is online. If you need to reach me, just send me an email or you can text me. If you text me, do me a favor. If you text me, just make sure you say this is so and so from Valley Forge. All right. So otherwise, you get anonymous texts and you kind of think, well, who are these people? So, all right. Um, Email addresses. This is my school address. This is my personal address. Um, I usually check my personal email pretty relentlessly. All right, so send it to my personal address. I will definitely get it. You send me a text, I'll definitely get it. I try to during the course of the term log on to the school site at least once or twice a day. All right, but the fastest way I usually am um, checking my personal email religiously. All right. Just a little bit about the course. The course prerequisites. Obviously, there's 4 classes in our program here. CS110 is the introduction. All right, and one of the areas we did talk about in the introduction was about databases. So this is actually a little bit more. This is kind of takes what we touched upon in the introduction class, and then we flesh it out more, add more detail to it. Right. And so the description, as we say, we cover database terms and concepts, privacy, ethics, security metadata, and organizational data management study strategies. All right. There's a number of different topic areas. So even though this is more in depth, but there's a lot of the field of data management, databases, things of that nature is very deep. Lots of information. All right, so even though it might look like there's a lot here, there's actually more out there. All right, so there's quite a bit within this. So we are going to, certain areas we're going to look to focus in on. All right, so kind of this idea of what's a database management system. Um, Structured query languages which is the way in which we interact, the tool, the technique we use to interact between ourselves and a computer and a database running on a computer. All right. Scripting database administration, keeping these things, defining them, and keeping them up and running. All right. So we talk quite a bit about databases, in the different dimensions of it. So the first part of what we're focused on, we'll kind of take a look at this here, is what we call database modeling and design. So we talk all about the mechanics of how do you put these things together. What is a database system? What is this idea of modeling? So one of the things that really go into databases, hopefully one takeaway we're going to have out of this course is you getting an understanding about the complexities. Databases are not something you slap together. You can slap it together, but there's no guarantee you're going to get the best possible results or make best possible utilization of it. So it's there's an expectation of an investment of time and energy involved in the upfront planning. So so we talk about things of data modeling, database design, data models in different what we call views. Concept called normalization. All right, so some of this stuff, the whole idea behind, we're going to be talking about something called a relational database. There's a lot of different databases out there, but the primary one, which virtually everybody is using, the main architecture that's out there is something called a relational database. So some of this stuff, and relational database has at its foundation uh, a branch of mathematics called relational algebra, right? Which is really around set theory. So if you recall the way sets work, if you recall sets, you have 2 sets, and you'll have what is the union of those 2 sets, which is everything. What is the intersection of those 2 sets, which are okay? What of all of the different attributes we have out there, which ones are contained in both, which ones are contained in neither, what's a null set. So so that's kind of what really makes up, and we'll go more into depth of this as we talk about it in the course, but that's kind of the mathematical basis of relational theory is what drives these databases. All right, so there's a mathematical basis for it, which means is one of the things that drives our need for data modeling, and design effort in order to set these things up in such a fashion so that we can leverage uh, the mathematical basis of it. All right, so the idea of when you deal with mathematics, if you if you define things the right way, you get a desired result. All right, and if you don't do it the right way, then you get a wrong result. All right, so it's pretty binary. Either it's right or it's wrong. All right, so the idea is because of the mathematical basis of relational databases, there's a strong emphasis on getting these things set up correctly. All right, so we'll be talking about that. So the first 3 weeks, or our first chunk of this course, is really focused on these 6 lessons here. All right, introduction, database design, models, normalization, relational theory, and structured query languages. All right. So this topic, we'll cover these topics right here, and then we'll have exam one. All right, and then we'll go into these. What will happen is the way the course is designed. It's we talk about the theory of information, theory of data, and then we also talk about the security aspects to it. All right, so we'll talk about we'll talk about kind of how the databases work, and then how do we apply security to it. So we'll be talking around hashing, encryption of data, um, different types of access methods, things of that nature. All right, and then topic 3, we'll be talking about data management, different types of data management topics, which is how you what are what's the structure of the data, how do you store it, where do you store it, how do you can you run it is it all in one spot, or can you run this stuff distributed? This idea of an object-oriented databases. Some things will go probably a little bit more in depth on. Other things probably we'll just kind of touch upon. All right, but want to make you aware of some of the different dimensions of this. All right, that's topic 3. Topic 4 is database administration. Basically, who defining and executing the care and feeding of these databases. None of these systems are come out of the box. For the most part, they don't plug. It's not a toaster. You don't plug it in and it just works. There's a whole not only setting it up, but keeping it running and keeping it operational, which requires an investment of time and particular expertise. Role we call that of a database administrator. So we'll be talking about that a bit. We'll talk a bit about have to see about clients. I think we'll talk a little bit about clients, not too much, but then also finally wrapping up with common vulnerabilities and mitigations. All right, so that's our topics. Basically, this is the kind of summary of the course. If you look at it at the timeline, so I've gone back and I've matched up. These are the weeks we have. So we start off this week, July 1, 8, 15, 22, 29, and then 5, the 5th of August, and the 12th of August. Right, the last day of the semester. So this is this is when exams are completed and grades are submitted. Is August 14th. All right. So where are at right now is July 1. So right now we are going to be this week. So this right here is what we're going to talk about this week, and I'll talk about this in the next recording. I'll go more into detail about this. All right, but you see, we've got to break this up. So so we've got first exam 1, and we're targeting for sometime during the week of the 15th. The precise day we'll announce. Obviously we'll set that and set it down. But basically, once we complete the SQL recorded lecture, the material around SQL, we'll do exam 1, which is really kind of all of this stuff right here. And then we will have, there's 2 exams, so we'll have that's exam 1. And then we have the final exam, which will be the last week of the course, will be August 12th. All right, and we'll be talking more about this as we go through, as we move forward during the term. Um, the books, so there's a couple books out there. One of the things we discovered last fall was that some of these open source books are good, but not quite what we're looking for. All right. So a lot of the stuff we cover will be, covered in the lectures. We'll have the references to the books and the open source books. So we're not requiring you to go out and buy all these books. I mean, it's actually things we're trying to keep, we're trying to focus on, using open source text. So these are the different books. I mean, what you can do is use this to complement and supplement the information that we are presenting in the class. Right? So the slides have a lot of information on them. Right? And then you can go to the books. It's really kind of a complement to that. And this is here are kind of the objectives of the class. Coming out of it, it's really about that, as we said, about databases, creating them, running them, the theoretical foundations of them. There's quite a bit within that. So we have 2 tests. We have the quizzes. I got to see what we're going to do with the quizzes. I have some lab exercises we're going to be doing. So one of the things I want to do early on is look about setting up MySQL. So we actually have a video about that specifically. But MySQL is an open source database so basically we get it for free, that we will be using to run some exercises, so you could do some hands-on with databases. Now we had some interesting, we first started working with this back last fall, and we had some issues with the how some of the stuff was set up. So we've done some cleanup on it, try to, we want to, we're not looking to do it, we're not looking to have everybody come out with necessarily super advanced database skills. Quite frankly, this course could be broken up into more details as we go along. We've only got 6-7 weeks to operate in, so we're obviously from a focus perspective, we want to make sure we're hitting the important parts and not necessarily trying to turn everybody into a fully professional database administrator in a couple weeks. All right. So, but there are some lab exercises we'll be working on. I'll be following up with more information about these, and they will be using the lab exercises. Will be using MySQL. So. And we will go through the exercise. One of the lab exercises is installing MySQL on your machine, and then creating a database. So we've got this basically a couple of exercises we'll be doing using this stuff, kind of the practical stuff. I'm going to be this summer. I think I'm going to be using the discussion questions. I'll probably do it for at least to kind of get going. One of the challenges, especially when we're doing this stuff on a totally remote basis, is getting people engaged and keeping people engaged over the course of the program. So, and one of the techniques, usually when we're all face to face, much better sense of kind of who everybody is and kind of what their level of engagement is. When we're doing it remote, though, we're not meeting face to face. That's a little bit more challenging. So we're a couple things we will do, and we'll go back up. That's a big breakdown. Policies. Okay. So we have as you said, there's what we're just looking at there. That is right here. If you click that, it'll download that document onto to your machine. This is the MySQL install instructions. That's also goes along with the MySQL, a video recording of the MySQL installation. So a combination of these two will hopefully guide us through, and we'll work our way through it. What I'd like to do is just taking a look here real quick. Okay. So for the first thing I want to do, something else we want to do this week is I'd like you to come out. So you'll find this under the announcements at the top of the screen. And need basically for you to welcome to the course, and then respond to this. Okay, so basically all I'm really looking for is just kind of introduce who you are, what your interests are, how long have you been into school, kind of what your, and if there's something in particular you're interested in with the course, something you want to cover, put that in there basically. So you basically just reply to me using the reply at the bottom. So just put, kind of make a note to go through, do the introduction, make sure you introduce yourself to everybody in the class. So this is the introduction, the announcements, and these first announcements up here. This recording here is going to be this recording, obviously, and then the next recording will be the week 1 course plan. A couple of things I'm still going to be we'll be working through as we're moving ahead. First thing I want to do, first course of action, is to make sure I get everybody logged on, do their introductions, and then do the MS SQL installation. That's our kind of our objectives for the first week of the course, and then we'll continue to move through that. So I think that's about everything. What I'll do is, so what you'll see is every week we'll add another week recording course plan. So basically I'll be doing announcements, assignments, things of interest that people have issues, kind of share it with everybody, or if there's questions that come up, people have, because usually what will happen is if one person has a question, it means there's more than one person, but only one person is asking it. So I'll assume that whoever will ask the question is probably will be of interest for everybody else. Okay. And that's about it. Welcome to the course, and looking forward to working our way through the summer. All right. I'll talk to you soon.